Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Legion clones and clone token sharing. Is it out of control? Is it perfectly balanced? And could we be seeing some changes to how that works? So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Also, if you are new here to the channel, be sure to check out the links in the description below. There's all kinds of links for merch, masks, neck gaiters, t-shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. It's all down there. Be sure to check all of that out. Also, we're going to be announcing the winner to the most recent giveaway at the end of this video, so make sure you watch all the way to the end. So, I'm going to be talking about clones here because, a lot of people have been saying that they think clones are a little overpowered, especially with ARC Troopers coming out soon. There's so many things about clones' native ability to share green tokens that has a lot of people calling for changes or declaring them overpowered. And I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. So, what is the clone's ability? Well, clones have the ability to share green tokens to other clones that are distance 1 and in line of sight. So you can, you can share your dodges, you can share your aims, you can share your surge tokens, but most importantly, you can share standbys. And this is kind of where it seems to get broken the most, because dodges and aims are pretty self-explanatory, but being able to share standbys around a corner represents a little bit of a problem, because normally the balance to somebody taking a standby action is that you can always shoot them. Assumably you'll get at least one hit to give them a suppression, which then cancels the standby. However, if clones are sharing standby around corners such that you can't shoot the unit that has the standby token, then all of a sudden you have no way of stopping the standby, and that really is where the problem tends to come in, especially with new units like Phase 2 clones that have that native training upgrade that can now take Overwatch or and gain gain that range 3 standby, and it kind of gets multiplied by the fact that not only can they standby, but that now they can also take some aims from somebody else, and so they can have like multiple standby shots. And really the sweet spot here is to try to have like one powerhouse clone unit that can stand by, or that can aim and dodge or whatever, and then have like a whole bunch of cheaper bare bones clone units. They can be phase 1 clones even, and they're just taking actions to feed to your powerful unit. So now in the right circumstances, you can have like one heavily decked out phase 2 clone trooper unit, and then 5 phase 1 clone troopers with no upgrades, but all of them cost so much less than the phase 2 unit, or the heavily decked out unit, but that decked out unit may get to shoot like 6 times with aim each time, in theory. Now, it seldom works out quite that well, but on some maps, and depending on your terrain and the objective and maybe your opponent, it certainly could work that way. That's kind of where some of the the disaster kind of comes in, because as of right now, there's really not that many ways to counter something like that. So is it broken? Is it overpowered? Should it be changed? There are some people that have said, that at least standbys should be changed. You could effectively change the color of standby tokens so that now they're just not shared anymore. You could change it to the clone's ability is maybe only once per turn. You could change it to where they have to exhaust something to be able to do it, or maybe they can share everything except standbys is only once per turn, or everything is once per turn. Like the clone tank pilot ability, that's inexhaustible. It doesn't seem. I don't think they're going to change this. I don't think it's going away anytime soon, because you're seeing exemplar and you're seeing new keywords like Padme can share tokens. And she can do it even farther away, although she doesn't get them in return, so it's not a two-way street, it's kind of just a one-way street, but it still gives abilities like that, and I think that's really where this where some of the problem comes in, because it seems like this is such a cool ability. It'd be nice if it was just specific unique units that could do it, but I do recognize that some people think that this is a pretty big problem. Now, I will say that in my games, I have not had situations where, one unit did stand by and, one unit was like the standby unit that just shot over and over and over again. I've had, heavy clone standby units use it once or twice, but not like 6-7 times in a game from the same unit, because usually I just don't go that way and stay away from them if they're setting something like that up. So there's definitely some really interesting things, and I think like one of the biggest weaknesses for this for a long time has been, well, if the clone player does have that one really decked out unit, let me just start focusing fire on that decked out unit. As soon as I get them weaker, now them standbying isn't even that big of a deal anymore. Now, what does it matter? It's just the leader, that's left. Well, I don't care if he stands by, or if he borrows a standby token from somebody else. And of course, objectives that you have to move to and gain, get to are a limiter there, because units that have to move, or are less likely to be able to get to, a place where they're comfortable doing an aim and standby. So I see a couple of interesting, ways to look at this. I don't know. I'm not sure it needs to be changed. A lot of it really depends on what's coming, right? We know that there's observation tokens that are coming. We don't know exactly what observation tokens do. They're presumably going to allow you to observe, right? So what would an observation token do? We know Darth Maul's Sith probe droid is bringing observation tokens. We know that the Separatist, comm droid is basically bringing in an observation token capability as well. Now, what if observation tokens allowed you to get line of sight on units that maybe you didn't have line of sight on? That seems like that could be a possibility. That might be a way to potentially break up, a clone bubble. It's like, oh, you've got this one, you've got these 2 units that each have standbys, and I can't get rid of those tokens. Oh, but if my Viper droid has, has like line of sight on them, all of a sudden now I can I can do an arced shot, I can launch a mortar or something like that. Like, that sounds really cool. Like, I like that as a possibility. But also I kind of like the idea of them maybe observation tokens doing something totally different and unrelated to breaking that up. Like, maybe just giving your guys like sharpshooter. I can see him better, so now he's not going to get the benefits from cover because this other dude's calling the shots. So something like that. So it might not really impact the whole standby effect very much. But I think another thing that impacts this is clones having access to medics now. Now, granted, their medics aren't super healy; they can only heal 1 each. But still, now if all of you throw a couple of generic clones in there, they're going to be distance 1 anyway, to be able to generate those tokens. Well, if all of them have the capability to heal also, they can be standby and, heal, pick you back up, and dodge. Standby, aim, and heal. Things like that. And so I feel like that's kind of an interesting way to look at this, is that, with all the new stuff that's coming, there's a lot of things that are going to impact just how strong that standby sharing is. And I think medics for the clones really help make it even a little bit better, because, I lost my Z6. Okay, well, we can get him back. So it's gonna be really interesting to see, if there is like a counter, or maybe just a hard rules change to how token sharing works, how standby sharing works. And then the other thing is, and this is a big if though, if observation tokens are the way to kind of be like almost like a hard counter to token sharing. If that is a hard way to get suppression onto a unit that's feeding standby tokens or whatever, is it going to only be the Separatists that have it? Is that going to be their thing, or maybe they're just going to have it the most, since it looks like they're going to have 2 options for it. Presumably, if the Empire ever gets the Viper probe droids, then they might have something like that. Like, you can come up with ways for other factions to get, spy units that can get observations. But it might be the Separatists that have it in their most abundance, or the cheapest access to it, or something like that. So that might be kind of a thing that the Separatists get that other factions don't have as much. So that could be something. Another option that is a possibility is, what if the observation tokens prevent units from spending green tokens? And this has been talked about a little bit. Now, I think that would be totally overkill. Like, if you could just drop a token that stops everybody nearby from spending green tokens, like, that's a huge part of the game. Is because it's not just standbys, it's also dodges and aims and surges, and there's, you know, the clone faction. Like, I would hate for like one little token that's an incidental from like a little expansion unit in the Separatists to completely shut down the entire Republic faction. I would also shut down all Jedi trying to dodge, and, you know, and use deflect and things like that. So I think that's total. Like, I've seen some people talking about that. I think that's absolutely crazy. But ultimately, like, I'm not convinced that the clones need to have their standby sharing removed. I think, you know, I think the fact that COVID has come in and stopped a lot of people from playing not long after Phase 2 clones have come out have, granted, some people are still playing on like Tabletop Simulator and stuff like that. But I think a lot of folks that would be playing in person are not playing. And so I feel like you have a smaller subset of the amount of games being played this whole year. So I feel like we haven't really had as many creative people get out there and see, you know, I feel like there's a lot more games to be played and different types of counters to be made to stop clones outside of just nerfing them. I think it's too soon to call for nerfs. I think we need at least a good solid year or most of a year, like probably a good solid 9 months or so of people playing with arcs and phase 2s and phase 1s all together. You know, so let's see what, you know, how the first half of 2021 goes. And if they still seem overpowered at that point, then maybe we can do a change. But I would hope that we don't change them just yet, because I would hate to overcompensate and kind of neuter this faction's main selling point for their core. But that's all I have to say about it. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the description, in the comments section. We also have a winner. I want to do a big congratulations to Just AJ. You just won the $25 Amazon gift card. Go ahead and shoot me an email on the back end of my channel. You can find that on the About page or on Crabbok.com. It's mailcrabbok@gmail.com, and get me your details and we'll get you squared away. Anybody else? I got new giveaways starting up all the time. All you have to do generally is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. That's usually how they work. All right, guys, I want to thank you all so much. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I could not do this without you. If you're interested in supporting the channel, check the description for links. There's also merchandise and links to social media and Discord and all that other stuff. And as always, have a great day.